Okay, we're going to get started. Hello, everybody. As always, if you're here live with me, I really appreciate you spending your Saturday morning with me. And if you have anything you want to add or ask, or if I cue you into, just put it in the chat or just unmute yourself and say something. I'm an only child. I love the sound of my own voice, but I also want your input and for you all to get the most out of it. And that means you chiming in and jumping in when you can. My name is Coach Jess. You all know who I am. Now, you are all a member of the Heal Your Habits project. This is an 8-week project. We are wrapping up week number 4 right now, which is hard to believe. And I just want to remind you all of the purpose of the Heal Your Habits project that you all signed up for and committed to, which first and foremost takes a lot of courage to sign yourself up for something because you are saying, I want to change something. And I feel like if you are in a room full of people, every single person has something they want to change about themselves, but we're putting a positive spin on it. I want to be the best version of myself. And I feel like best version of myself has really been watered down, but it's so beautiful to me because every individual's best version of themselves, one, everyone has a different distance that they need to go to get there. And when we get there, it is so uniquely you, and the battle and the trenches you've gone through to get there makes it that much better. So as we go through those trenches together, what we're really trying to conquer here is being the kind of person who does what they say they're going to do. And we'll get into this in the call. But when we say, I'm going to walk a mile every day for the first 2 months of the year, I am going to ruthlessly and relentlessly hit my protein goal and drink my water every day on the days that it's easy, on the days that it's challenging, on the days that it's inconvenient, on the days where I don't even know why I'm doing it. Because so many things in life, you're going to ask yourself those same questions. Oh, today was awesome and easy being a parent. Why am I even working this job? I don't have the time to do the XYZ I said I was going to do. You'll find that these similar emotions, excuses, or successes happen in other parts of our life, and we are sharpening our axe together with these 3 tasks for the first 2 months of the year. And there's a big possibility that 4 weeks in, we have gotten off track. And that's why we're going to talk about this today. I was going to be doing meal prepping 101. I'm actually going to be doing that with you guys on site at my mom's house in California next Saturday, which I'm very excited about because her kitchen has way better lighting than mine. But today we are going to be going over getting back on track, right? Which is we are going to talk about getting off track, but I always want to bring back that positive connotation of we're getting back on track. And so first, what I want to ask you all, put it in the chat or unmute, what does getting off track mean to you? Maybe you can give me some examples, but I feel like we don't really have this assignment of what getting off track means, but we always say, oh, I need to get back on track. Okay, well, what does getting off track look like for you? Now, I have some examples for myself, but don't hesitate to share that in this safe place in the chat, or if you're watching the recording, just kind of say to yourself, can you define it? And I have some reasoning as to why it's not the most clear thing for us. It's actually pretty funny. But some examples for me of getting off track, and we're actually going to dive into each of these and how to have a tactical and mindset approach to getting out of that, is a cascade of poor eating choices over a period of time. Stephanie in the chat says, not planning my food enough and then having to play catch up or don't eat enough because of that, right? So getting off track with our prepping or our planning. And that's why I'm really excited to do Meal Prep 101 with you all to support not getting off track with your nutrition if you know that getting on track. So that's another question I can ask you. What does being on track look like for you? And I bet you that's easier for you to answer because there are so many ways that we admit to being off track. But for some reason, we only have one clear idea of what being on track looks like. Ooh. And that is a recipe for failure. This is on track. Here's the bajillion ways I can get off that track. Other Stephanie says, for me, it's not going to the gym consistently. Yes. But if being on track is not just exercising consistently, but it's moving my body every day, well, that can look like a lot of different things. So at the end of this call, we're going to reframe what being on track looks like. And that's not to say, Stephanie, that you're wrong with your definitions of being on track or off track, but we are going to shape that and form that so that you have a lot more confidence and a lot less likelihood to have this self-fulfilling prophecy of not doing what you said you were going to do. Another example or question asked you is, how long do you need to be off for it to be considered being off track? Because if I had a tub of Ben and Jerry's last night, am I suddenly off track, or do I need to also eat poorly the next day for that to be? And the reason I'm asking you to really pick this apart is because a lot of times we admit to ourselves that we're off when we don't need to be. We don't have to stay there. We don't have to label it as that, because the lifestyle that you live isn't going to be perfect. That's how you get to keep your results, because you step in the puddle and you keep walking and you don't look back. You don't worry about how wet your shoe is. You just keep walking. That was a weird metaphor, but I think it worked. So my immediate solution to all these questions is don't miss twice. If you did something that you feel was off track, and I know I'm saying that word a lot, I didn't come up with any other words for it, so we're just going to roll with it. If you felt like you didn't do something in alignment with your plan, let's say nutrition, don't do it again tomorrow. If you skipped the gym yesterday, don't skip again tomorrow. If you didn't hit your protein yesterday, you better hit it today. And so the don't miss twice rule is such a great way for you to honor, hey, I did something that wasn't in alignment with what I said I was going to do or what I wanted, but I'm going to be humble enough to admit it, take responsibility for doing it, but take initiative to make sure it doesn't happen again. A lot of times, First Form has a list of core values. One of them is take responsibility, but the other one is take initiative. A lot of us only accept responsibility, but we don't change what we do. Remember that really annoying ex-boyfriend who said he was sorry but didn't change? You're doing that to yourself. I know what I need to do, I just don't do it. Okay. Heal yourself, heal your habits. Oh, there's the chef. So don't miss twice. That's our first major takeaway. And it's your superpower. It is truly your superpower. A little later in this call, we're going to talk about holidays and sick and travel, where that's not as controllable. But at the end of the day, be honest with yourself. What am I in control of today? Was I in control yesterday? Probably. What can I do today? Now, something that's been coming up for me is I see a lot of influencers online who say, I don't weigh myself, or I don't track my food, but I'm just going to use the weighing yourself as an example. Currently, in our stage of our transformation, the scale is feedback. The scale is giving us feedback on what our choices are doing to our progress. And while the scale isn't always the best telltale sign of if you're doing things right or wrong, when you're in these beginning or so stages, or you have a very big goal, especially one that is related to the scale is truly feedback on whether you are on track or not. But these influencers who say, I don't weigh myself, and here's the thing, they don't need feedback from their choices, because their choices are always aligned with their greater goal. And they don't consider those poor choices to be off track, but rather just a bigger part of the lifestyle they're creating. And so you'll see influencers be like, I had a tub of Ben and Jerry's last night. And you're probably like, I look at a tub of Ben and Jerry's and gain weight. But it's because they had that, but they also got their steps in and exercise and ate very clean the rest of the day and are going to eat really clean tomorrow. And so this one pinpoint in their day isn't going to define their overall progress. And we can't let that happen to you. However, they have earned that right for those little puddles on their road to not throw them off so much. So just keep that in mind. Similar to them not tracking, their metabolism is fired up to handle those ebbs and flows. And yours will be too, but we have to earn it. So the dream, the goal, the idea that you can start embracing now is the 90-10. Because when you allow yourself that 10%, you feel like I can do this. I have these freedoms. I can still go out. I can still indulge because I know in my soul that I am giving 90% of all in, all effort, best of intention. So if you're someone who very drastically is on and off and on and off, try to find that 90-10 for yourself, because it is very, very hard to blame the poor choices when you're only doing them 10% of the time. So be confident in that 90 you're giving. So we're going to do some examples of getting off track and how to bring yourself back, both tactically and mindset wise. And I want to preface this, and please go ahead and continue dropping your examples of ways that you have found you get off track or feel like you get off track. And I know, Jess, you just joined. Hi. So go ahead and do that. So I came up with this. I've said it a few times, but I'm really proud of it. I should probably trademark it. You can get off track without getting off the train. I like hit my desk and made myself shake. You can get off track without getting off the train. And it's acknowledging that you're gonna get off track, but there's such a negative connotation, this like tumultuous, it's ruined all my progress. No, that's because you completely got off the train. Don't miss twice, we get back on. So let's talk about some nutrition examples. So a cascade of poor eating choices would be an example, binging one night, or just not tracking your food altogether. These are kind of the first examples I came up with when I think about getting off plan. And when it comes to nutrition, you guys, we should want to be making the good decisions. We should want to be tracking our food. It's my job to give you confidence in your plan so that you know without a doubt that it's going to work before you see the results. And if I haven't done that, you let me know. I'll take responsibility and take initiative to make sure you feel confident. What I am doing is going to work if you do it right, if you do it to a T, if you do it with that 90-10. Sidebar. But we should want these things because if you've done it for long enough, you feel energized. You feel like you're thriving. You feel a better mood, better sleep. Now, if you haven't given that consistency to yourself to long enough to experience it, you're really missing out. And you're missing out on a superpower that is the desire to be on track because you love the way you feel and the results that you get from being on. So ask yourself, like, what do you really want? Because there's something to be said about, let's just say, sweets. When we just fall into this trap of eating sweets every day, all the time, or cravings, or snacking. First of all, don't be so hard on yourself, but understand, why is my body asking for this? One, are you honestly hungry? Because you could eat something healthy. Fruit is sweet. Cinnamon and honey is sweet. So you need to be honest with yourself about, am I hungry? Because there's other options to feed the hunger. Second would be, do I genuinely want something sweet? Okay, well, there are healthy sweet foods. Get yourself a Ninja Creamy, okay? I'll teach you some recipes. There are ways around this. Third question would be, am I looking for a dopamine hit? Have I somewhere in my life been programmed to think that that tub of Ben and Jerry's is going to give me happiness? Because I remember as a kid going to the grocery store and picking out a new flavor each week. I remember when I did really well at a soccer game, my parents took me to get a McFlurry. Where did the programming come from? Because when you can admit it to yourself and find it, you can distance yourself from it. And also for my moms out there, are you instilling this in your kids? So let's check on that. My mom, bless her heart, made me pancakes with syrup and whipped cream. Yes, she's on this call right now. Every single morning from like kindergarten to my senior year of high school. Yes, she still did it in high school. And so I have this association with sweet breakfasts that they start my day, that I'm bonding with my mom. My mom's caring for me. You want to know what happened when I started doing that for my daughter? She turned into a nightmare because this blood sugar jump that she had every morning. So let's get real with where that desire to snack, that dopamine hit is coming from, because it'll really help you overcome it if it's not in alignment with your greater goal. And let's remind ourselves of the greater goal. Is your goal really your goal? Do you want it badly enough? Because a lot of times we doubt whether we want our goal when we realize what it takes to get there. It's so much easier to stay exactly the same as I am and just settle for mediocrity, to be honest with you all, and eat what I want when I want it, than to get uncomfortable and be willing to get in the mess that is success. What incredible thing have you achieved that did not take struggle, mess, growth, effort? I'll wait. This call will not end. So when it feels uncomfortable, when it feels messy, say, yes, it's happening. This is what it's going to take. Because if it was easy, everyone would be fit, skinny minis. Okay. We're not, because it's hard. And that's okay. Stop fighting it. Stop fighting yourself. For those of you out there who are pretty fit, right? You don't have 50 pounds to lose, let's just say, for some of you. It's hard to convince yourself to do that relentless, challenging work when you don't have a huge goal. But what I'm going to tell you right now is we cannot stand still. We do not stay as we are. You're either growing or you're dying. And every choice you make is going to change that or affect that. So if you don't have a huge weight loss goal or a huge goal, I'm going to challenge you to change that, to make it bigger. And it doesn't even have to be related to the scale or your physique. Sign yourself up for a half marathon. Give yourself a financial goal in the next 6 months, because the discipline it takes to get uncomfortable and get in the mess of these programs that we have around our nutrition will make you a much more successful person in all areas of your life. All right. So that's where I'm at with nutrition. Let me know if there's something else I can touch on. And at the same time, you guys, you need to set yourself up. And so it's meal prepping, it's pre-tracking, it's saying, I am going to eat this because I know that this is going to help me reach my goals. And if you are someone who has to have sweets every night, fine. But you better be making room for it ahead of time in your calories. You better be tracking honestly and accurately. And you better be taking OptiGreens 50 to take care of your gut health so your gut can handle those things, right? I don't want to take all these things out of your life. Someone on this call, we talked about beer and pizza. Okay, yes, that is not the greatest thing to get results. But if you can make room for that in your calories, and if you can exercise moderation and how much you have in the moment or how often you have it every week, and you take care of your gut health, it's okay. I'm not trying to change your life. I'm trying to uplift your life, elevate your life, improve your life. Don't you want that? And do you trust me? So next one we're going to talk about is exercise or steps or movement. Getting off track. This could be laziness. This could be injury. This could be time management. The best thing that I can share with you is that if you can't do it forever, it's probably not going to be easy to stay on track with. So if you're like, I'm going to go to F45 7 days a week, I'm going to go to karate, I'm going to do something 7 days a week, or I'm going to run every day. And it doesn't have to be an everyday thing, but realistically, and your resiliency and your adaptability to what you promise yourself is going to improve. So meet yourself where you're at. I don't exercise a single day. Okay, go 10% above that. I'm going to do once a week. Be realistic with yourself, because if you can conquer once a week for 2 weeks, and it's going to suck and you feel like I'm not doing anything, but guess what? You're sharpening your axe, because after 2 weeks, you're going to do 2 days a week and it becomes who you are. Be honest with your growth and don't expect to go to 0 to 100. Don't expect to stay at 100. Can you be at that 90? So if you're feeling off track with your exercise, the first thing is to remind yourself, why am I doing it? Because if you're having a punishment and reward relationship with your food or your exercise, you're going to put yourself in a crummy position. I want to exercise. It's a privilege to exercise. Don't look at what everybody else is doing online and think you have to do that. This is your journey. This is your best self. What does she look like? What does he look like? What do you want to do? And if that's a hard question to ask yourself, then I'm not surprised that you're struggling in your health and fitness journey. You have to talk to yourself. You have to get down and dirty with the you that you were, the you that you are, and the you that you want to be, and get in a fight with those 3 people. Make them fight, make them brawl. Journal, personal development. If we are not engaging in some form of personal development every day, it is going to be really hard to grow, change, have those hard conversations with yourself. Because if your best friend had 100 pounds to lose and you love her, your sister, your mom, and they told you what they were going to do and they kept breaking their promises to themselves, would you say something? I hope so. I really hope so. So when you get off track and you're like being all hard on yourself, what do you know what I want you to do? I want to say, hey, look in the mirror. Don't talk about my best friend like that. Be your own best friend, be your own advocate, and get real with yourself. Don't be hard on yourself, but be hard enough on yourself that you know what's better for you. So at the end of the day, yes, exercise can be a hard thing to start with or get back into, but you got to get through the uncomfortable 1, 2, 3 times, and you'll fall back in love with it the way you did. And it might not look the same way it did before you fell off track, because you fell off track for a reason. And if you fell off track because you didn't like what you were doing or it wasn't sustainable, then again, this reflection is so important. Why did I fall off track? Was it just me making excuses, or was this honestly not working for me? Yes, at a certain point, we do just have to put our nose to the grindstone and do the work. But let's make sure the work works for you and your life and your time. So a great with a very low barrier to entry is your steps. Can you walk? Yes. So many people ask me to write them this 6-day-a-week weightlifting program. And I say, okay, before I do that, I want you to go on a 10-minute walk 5 out of the next 7 days. And then come back to me. A week goes by, they come back to me. Did you do it? No. Okay, then what makes you think that I think you're going to do a 6-day-a-week workout program that I'm going to take the time to write for you if you can't get yourself on a walk? One, we don't believe in the power of the walk, but I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for the power of your discipline. But walking is a very low barrier to entry thing that grows our confidence, our discipline, and gets results. I've had women lose 60, 70 pounds and they didn't step foot in a gym. Okay. Nutrition is king. And then there's walking. I wasn't going to say queen because, okay. Walking, steps, get out and walk. The fresh air is so good for your gut health. It's a great way to habit stack. When I go on my walks, that's when I call my mom or my best friend who I normally wouldn't have time to talk to. This is a time management piece. Can you find time management to walk? And can you honestly believe the power of moving your body, less so than putting all this pressure to exercise with a lot of intensity? Ask yourself, is this obstacle I'm facing really going to stop me, or is it an opportunity for me to grow? Face it head on. Now, there are instances like travel, getting sick, or holidays that can get us off track. And it feels hard to get back on because we've been in this completely different situation for days or weeks, or with holidays, sometimes months. And we think that we have to literally go from black to white or from A to Z, and that it has to look so different. And that's why it's really nice that we break down the Heal Your Habits Project, or the big four in my coaching programs: calories, protein, water, movement. And we chip away at those. And know that just because you're not doing it perfectly doesn't mean you're not still making progress. You could be walking, running, leaping, and you're still moving forward. And you have to want to move forward so badly that the pace that you're doing it doesn't make you stop. You are going to have days where you make leaps and bounds. You are going to have days where you crawl. Just move forward. We are so hard on ourselves. So at the end of the day, remember, we're creating a lifestyle that is not perfect. So we need to rearrange our view that we started with of on track being this cookie cutter perfect thing. I want you to move forward having the best of intentions, like you all, I know you always do, but your actions have to align with your intention every time. And if your action did not align with your intention, that next action to follow, it does. So you're okay with that not so perfect decision you make, because you know that you know what to do, and you will the next time, no matter how uncomfortable. I'm going to finish this off with this thing that I realized about a self-fulfilling prophecy. It is so much easier for us to fail because that makes us right. We are so much more likely to get off track that we expect it, so that we could be like, see, I did it. I did it again. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. Okay. We want to be right. We want to be in control, but that is not the kind of control I want you all to have. I want you to believe with your entire soul that you can do the work. And when you don't identify and claim so hard. I did it again. What I want you to do is get back on track and be like, I did it again. I'm back. It's okay. Keep moving forward. So that is what I have for you guys today. As a reminder, the Jess Lee Fitness Facebook community is a place I'm really trying to nurture, and I'm going to show up for you all on there with live videos and education, but I encourage you all to post once a week in there, or comment on somebody's something. Ask questions. Let that be a space that you run to when you have a quick question you want to ask other women or people. Okay. We can go fast alone, but we will go far together. Remember, it's not about the pace. And I promise you're going to go a lot faster if you stay on this with me and you don't miss twice. But we have a long life to live, and I want you to do it right this time. So get in the mess with me. Laugh at yourself when you get off track, and don't identify with it so much. Okay? I love you guys. Happy Saturday. I'm going to go hang out with my kiddo. Let me know if you need anything. I've got your back. Bye.